relevance of this place at the entry. I could see this LED behind us, and there's a film going on this LED, and there's also a very strong message, Vasudev Kutumbakam. If my viewers can see, Vasudev Kutumbakam is written. Word is one family. Perhaps that was the message which India gave at the time of G20 summit in New Delhi, that word is one family. Over to you.
That's right. This Mandir is going to be a symbol of global love, peace and harmony. Let me first tell you how the story of this building this Mandir even began. Back in 1997, our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in the United Arab Emirates, and in the deserts of Sharjah, he sat there and said, one day there will be a Mandir in Abu Dhabi, and that Mandir will bring people of all faiths, all religions and all countries together. He said this in the deserts of Sharjah, and what you can see over here is the dune of prayer.
Yeah.
The welcome center of the Mandir symbolizes the start of the story of this Mandir. And he said that this will be a place that people of all faiths and all religions will live in harmony. And that's why behind that you see the wall of harmony. It's a beautiful 3D wall, and you can see harmony has been written in so many different languages.
So we are right outside the Mandir, and in fact we are next to the stairs. So after seeking darshan, the devotees will do parikrama of the Mandir. So this is a place where people will do parikrama, the devotees will do parikrama. Mithali, talk to us about some of the carvings. You were explaining you were explaining to me some fascinating stories that have been depicted from various cultures, religions of the world. Talk to us about that.
So as you walk across the parikrama, you'll see stories from India as well as stories from different civilizations of the world, because we want this Mandir to be a home for people of all countries and a place that symbolizes global harmony. Behind me, you will see carvings from 14 different civilizations, which includes the stories from the Aztec culture, Mayan culture, Chinese culture, stories from the Arabian Peninsula. All of them have been carved over here. You can also see behind me a very special carving. The Mandir was the dream and the sankalp of our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And this Mandir was created by Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj.
There are also very special carvings on the walls of the temple. Some scenes being depicted from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Shiv Pujan. Talk to us about that.
So as you can see, the Mandir on the outside is made with pink sandstone from Rajasthan, and on the interior you'll see white Italian Carrara marble. All of this has been very, very intricately carved, and what is very special is it's not just carvings, but each carving has a story to tell. So you'll see carvings from the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Shiv Puran, stories of Lord Ayyappa, Bhagwan Swami Narayan, Jagannath Ji. All of these carvings have been incorporated, and there is beautiful stories on the carvings. And it's not just carvings from the stories of India. This Mandir has been built as a symbol of love, peace and harmony between people of all faiths and all countries. So we've also incorporated stories from 14 different civilizations from around the world that have been carved over here. Stories from the Aztec culture, the Arabian culture, stories from the Chinese culture, stories from Africa. All of them have been carved.
How excited you are for the BAPS temple inauguration, and first of all, talk to us about the temple. What all are the specialities that the devotees will get to see when they'll come for the darshan, the carvings, the depictions, and also the wall of harmony is something which is perhaps going to catch a lot of eyeballs at the time when devotees will go inside. So talk to us about all that.
Well, first of all, I'm extremely excited to be having a Mandir built here in Abu Dhabi. I arrived 7 years ago from the UK, and I wanted somewhere where I can connect culturally. And only then has this beautiful Mandir come up.
Absolutely.
It's like a dream come true. What I will say is behind us, we've got the dunes. And in 1997, our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj had made a dream at that point that in Abu Dhabi, may there be a Hindu temple built. And at the time, it felt like, you know, will that ever happen?
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Another Congress leader has now dumped the party. It's not one who would be called young and ambitious and therefore having left because the party doesn't recognize talent. It's someone who has been a state chief minister and minister in multiple cabinets on other occasions. We're talking about none other than former Maharashtra Chief Minister Ashok Chavan, a true blue congressman with an association starting from his father with his party. He has called it quits, and while he's not confirmed it yet, he could join the BJP soon. With that emerges the prospect that Congress in the state could go the Sena or the NCP way, where it could get split or broken. Talent drain is one thing, not being able to keep its house together is another. The Mahavikas Aghadi alliance between Congress, the Sena, UBT and NCP Sharad Pawar is also on rocks over seat sharing. Could Congress end up compromising so much that its own leaders become disgruntled and leave? While the BJP, Shinde Sena and Ajit Pawar alliance may also have its own issues, currently they seem to be doing better, holding on better than their opponents. And it's really anyone's guess what happens in the state by the time central and state elections come calling. Is the MVA crumbling in Maharashtra? We take that question to our guests in just a bit, but first up, Ashok Chavan was tight-lipped today about the reasons why he's leaving the Congress. All he said that he worked honestly for the party for as long as he was there, and now he feels it's time for him to move on. But many analysts believe that the party should have seen this coming, and here is why. Number one, Ashok Chavan was miffed and has been miffed at quote-unquote outsider, someone like Nana Patole being promoted above him. Complaints against Patole or his working have gone unheard so far. He was also upset over his Rajya Sabha nomination being denied. And finally, despite being more experienced, he got a PWD ministry in the Aghadi government till they were in power, something he was miffed about. It's not really considered one of the top plum portfolios. Now, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has suggested that this is just a trailer, picture abhi baki hai. He says just wait and watch. So are more leaders likely to dump the Congress party? Now, this is something that is being speculated about widely. I want to break down exactly what we know at this stage. Now, MLC Amarnath Rajurkar is also someone who has tendered his resignation along with Ashok Chavan today. And there is a speculation that more Congress MLAs could also quit the party. Interestingly, BJP's Amit Shah is expected to be in the state on February 15, and it is expected or currently speculated the likes of Ashok Chavan and as many as 10 other leaders from the Congress party could join the BJP then. So what happens to the Congress in the state is therefore a pertinent question. Now, many have questioned how Congress is handling its affairs for quite a while now. But more recently, there's been a criticism that even as the party should have been engaging with allies and party leaders who seem to be upset are saying so in public, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party are more interested or preoccupied by the Yatra currently. And the Yatra has met with one setback after another since its start. Let me chart out what has happened. On the very first day as this Yatra was to begin from Manipur and go towards Assam, you had Milind Deora, another big face of the Congress party, quitting. And then, of course, since then, he has joined the rival Sena, Shinde Sena group. The next setback came as Congress would have hoped that when it enters West Bengal, it will make some strong waves. But even as it was planning to do so, Mamata Banerjee, the chief minister there, very publicly and unilaterally pulled the rug on the alliance in the state at least. And on the same day, even Aam Aadmi Party snubbed the Congress in Punjab, and it became clear there wouldn't be any seat sharing between the two. Then a state where Congress was a stakeholder in the government, even as Rahul Gandhi was coming close to entering Bihar, Nitish Kumar dumped the alliance whole and jumped ship to the NDA again. Today he has successfully passed the trust vote. 10 days later, as the Yatra was nearing UP, the centre announced the Bharat Ratna for Chaudhry Charan Singh, and RLD chief Jayant Chaudhary was very clear that now there is no stopping his Ghar Vapsi in the NDA. He made it very clear that there is, he can't say no to the NDA anymore. Yesterday, the Aam Aadmi Party has drawn the line in Delhi as well for the Congress. After Punjab, Arvind Kejriwal hinted that there will not be any seat sharing, or at least they will not concede any seats as far as Delhi is concerned. This is even as the yatra is currently halted in Uttar Pradesh. And as I mentioned, Ashok Chavan today has now called it quits. He's ending his association with the Congress after Milind Deora and Baba Siddiqui from the state have done so. As that happened, Rahul Gandhi is in Uttar Pradesh, a state which is also seeing some unease over seat sharing. And let me also mention that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress have decided to cut short their UP stint, UP leg. They would be skipping Western UP completely. And while the party's official line may be that this is because of exams that are coming, let's not forget that this is happening even as the RLD is rejoining the NDA, something that has been confirmed just today by Jayant Chaudhary. The question we asked today is this: if we were to take a cue from Maharashtra alone, even as Ashok Chavan dumps the Congress party, could it be said that the MVA, the alliance itself, is crumbling? We'll take that to our guests next.
मैंने आज कांग्रेस वर्किंग कमेटी, कांग्रेस की प्राइमरी मेंबरशिप और हमारे जो लेजिस्लेचर पार्टी है उसका भी इस्तीफा मैंने आज पार्टी को सुपुर्द किया है।
What went wrong? Who was he upset about? We don't know. He'll himself tell you what happened.
कौन कौन हमारे संपर्क में है इसका खुलासा धीरे धीरे आपको होगा। तो मेरा आपको इतना ही कहना है, आगे आगे देखिए होता है क्या।
First up, Congress's former CLP leader in Maharashtra, former minister and former president, Balasaheb Thorat is now joining me live. I do appreciate your time, Mr. Thorat. ऐसा क्यों है कि महाराष्ट्र कांग्रेस को ये आता हुआ दिखा नहीं? क्या आपको पता था कि आपके इतने बड़े लीडर अशोक चव्हाण छोड़ के जाने वाले हैं? ऐसा लग रहा है कि आपकी यूनिट को कोई खबर ही नहीं थी।
अशोक राव जी का ये डिसीजन तो अचानक हुआ है। रूमर चल रही थी तो हमें सच नहीं लगती थी। कल तक हमारे साथ थे, हमारे साथ डिस्कशन किया। पार्लियामेंट के जो स्ट्रैटेजी बनाने वाली कमेटी थी हमारी, उसमें भी वो थे और हमने आज बैठने के लिए भी उनके साथ हमने तय किया था। तो अचानक उनका ये डिसीजन आ गया।
बट सवाल तो अब ये बनता है ना थोराट जी कि पहले मिलिंद देओरा छोड़ के चले जाते हैं, अब अशोक चव्हाण आपको आप कह रहे हैं कि रूमर्स तो चल ही रहे थे, दोनों नाराज थे, तो कांग्रेस अपने लीडर्स को खुश क्यों नहीं रख पा रही है?
नहीं, अभी देखो ये बीजेपी ऐसा तो काम पूरा देश में कर रही है, और स्टेट में भी आप देखेंगे तो यही उनकी राजनीति रही है। वो ऑपरेशन लोटस बोलते हैं या कुछ बोलते हैं और ऐसा एक काम करते हैं, कहाँ ईडी का ये करते हैं, कहाँ आईटी का करते हैं, कहाँ पुलिस का करते हैं। ये तो उनकी राजनीति का तरीका हो गया है। तो महाराष्ट्र में होना ये तो देखा हुआ कि उन्होंने महाराष्ट्र स्टेट के गवर्नमेंट बनाया, उस टाइम भी ऐसा ही कुछ किया है। उन्होंने शिवसेना तोड़ी, बाद में राष्ट्रवादी तोड़ी, अभी कांग्रेस को पर ये टाइम आ गया है।
तो यही स्पेकुलेशन अब हो रहा है कि जिस तरह से कांग्रेस, जिस तरह से एनसीपी और सेना टूटी है, क्या कांग्रेस भी अब टूटेगी महाराष्ट्र में?
नहीं, कांग्रेस के एमएलए जाएंगे ऐसे मुझे तो लगता नहीं। मैंने बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ संपर्क भी किया है, वो सब ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम मुझे लगता नहीं है। और कांग्रेस ने ऐसे टाइम तो बहुत बार देखे हैं ना, इंदिरा जी के टाइम में देखे हैं, 1999 में देखे हैं, 19 में भी ऐसी स्थिति थी, हमारे अपोजिशन लीडर चले गए थे, फिर भी हमारा नंबर आगे गया। ऐसा तो कांग्रेस ने देखा है, या ये पहले भी हम आगे जाएंगे, पूरी जोर से काम करेंगे और जीत जाएंगे।
बट स्वराज जी, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, ये आइसोलेशन में सिर्फ महाराष्ट्र की बात नहीं है, कांग्रेस हर स्टेट में उनके लिए चैलेंजेस हैं और कुछ स्टेट्स में तो एलाइज भी खुश नहीं है, खुद के लीडर्स छोड़ के जा रहे हैं, तो क्या आप मानेंगे कहीं ना कहीं तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम है ना?
नहीं, कांग्रेस का खुद का प्रॉब्लम ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। आइडियोलॉजी का एक तो है ही कि ये जो आइडियोलॉजी है सबको साथ लेने की, उसमें प्रॉब्लम है। धर्म की राजनीति शुरू हो गई है। जो बीजेपी की राजनीति कर रही है, ईडी की, आईटी की, आप अब सब ये देखेंगे, पैसे की राजनीति जब करती है तो ये तकलीफ उसकी है। जनता ये समझ रही है, जनता डिसीजन देगी, इलेक्शन में डिसीजन देगी।
एक आखिरी सवाल मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि राज्यसभा के इलेक्शंस भी आने वाले हैं, आपको लगता है कि जो ये हलचल अभी महाराष्ट्र में हो रही है उससे राज्यसभा के इलेक्शंस के रिजल्ट्स भी अफेक्ट हो सकते हैं?
कितना असर होगा ये आज तो समझ नहीं सकते। हमारे एमएलए तो इंटैक्ट दिख रहे हैं, तो कोई मुझे तो आज प्रॉब्लम लगता नहीं, क्योंकि मित्र पक्ष के भी एमएलए लोग हैं, वो भी साथ में रहेंगे हमारे।
अच्छा, okay. Bala Sahab Thorat feels confident that the MLAs are not going to be leaving the Congress even though speculation persists. I do thank you, Mr. Thorat, for your time on what has been a shocking and a difficult day for Maharashtra Congress and the party overall. Let's also open this up to our guests joining us. Charu Pragya from the BJP, Mahima Singh from the Congress party, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, tracks the Congress very closely. Also Vivek Stilas, his spokesperson from the Samajwadi Party, currently with the India Alliance, but not really seeing eye to eye as far as seat sharing in UP is concerned. I want to begin with Rashid Kidwai and I'll come to our political representatives in just a bit. I'm not sure what the Congress is supposed to project it as, but Rashid Kidwai is someone who tracks the Congress very closely. How big of a setback do you see Ashok Chavan leaving? It may not be just because of his political heft, but perception-wise, and also could he take more along with him?
Thank you, Shivani. Yes, I think if a leader of the stature of Ashok Chavan goes, that means in the immediate sense, a Rajya Sabha seat that Congress could have got from Maharashtra has also gone off for a toss. Whether 5 MLAs would go with him or 10 or 15, we cannot speculate at this juncture, but it's a huge setback. Here is a man who was doing negotiation with Uddhav Thackeray, a group of Shiv Sena, and Sharad Pawar group of NCP for seat sharing for coming a parliament Lok Sabha election. Here was a man who was doing, he was a member of CWC. Here was a man who's son of Shankar Rao Chavan, that former Home Minister of the country, and of course the Chief Minister. He was himself Chief Minister. See, this is Mr. Ashok Chavan's profile. The BJP, even in that white paper which came out recently, Shivani, it named this Adarsh housing scam, one of those list of the scam that was given. So what I'm saying is, it's a huge setback for the Congress at one level, because its whole preparedness, it's see, the Congress does not know the biggest problem, Shivani, as I see it. See, there is no sense of ownership. Rahul Gandhi is absolutely reckless when it comes to the political management of the party. He has a claim that, he is not a Congress president, so why should he be concerned? But at the same time, Gandhis fancy themselves as representing the political leadership of the Congress. Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who's the official Congress president, he has no authority in that sense. So if you ask him, he says, okay, you ask Rahul Gandhi, you ask K.C. Venugopal. K.C. Venugopal is the General Secretary in charge of Congress party, and he and Mr. Ashok Gehlot were in the best of political terms. So there was also some talk of business dealings. I won't get into that. How is it this has happened? Why can't the Congress be proactive? I just saw your interview with Mr. Thorat. If he was sure why a show cause notice was not given, you give a show cause notice to Sanjay Jha and Alok Sharma's of the world, but you don't give show cause notice to a person of the stature of Ashok Chavan. So I think the Congress is not at all seems to be serious for its preparation for 2024.
Okay, this is Rashid Kidwai saying it, Mahima saying there seems to be a problem, and every time a big leader leaves the Congress party, I know what Rahul Gandhi said when Milind Deora left, I know what Jairam Ramesh has said today. Your attitude seems to be ki jisko jana hai jaye. Fine, fair enough. The party is bigger than any individual. I'm not suggesting anybody can bring down a party, but there is a problem. Your leaders cannot be leaving you every 2 weeks.
Jai Hind. Sahir Ludhianvi has said, हजार बर्फ गिरें, लाख आंधियां उठें, वो फूल खिल के रहेंगे जो खिलने वाले हैं. Whoever said the ideological battle was going to be a cakewalk, Shivani, we were not expecting that. And this is the BJP's washing machine churning. I just heard Devendra Fadnavis's statement on your show earlier, and he says that कौन कौन हमारे संपर्क में है अभी आगे आगे देखिए होता है क्या. This is the BJP machine churning. You see, the constitutional heads have become puppets in the hands of the BJP, the ruling dispensation. The news coming from all over the country today is so disturbing for any citizen of this country. And I think in these dire times, when my leader Sri Rahul Gandhi is out on the roads fighting for justice, fighting for the constitutional principles, I think we do understand that the Adarsh verdict is going to be out on the 27th of February. So Mr. Chauhan's predicament is well understood. You see, the BJP is using whatever, it's fighting tooth and nail today. 95% of the cases before ED, CBI are on opposition leaders. That's a fact well known to everybody today. So I would reiterate my leader, Sri Jairam Rameshji, who said that, you see, people will come and go, but the party's strength is ideology, and it remains unshaken and unwavering. It is each of us workers of the party that forms the backbone of this party.
Okay, but if you say the party's ideology is what it is, of course it is, and every ideology deserves a space. And you also say that these are leaders under corruption charges who are leaving because of BJP's washing machine. The ideology comes under question. In the sense, let's not forget, you are not. Mahimaji, let me finish. What would the public look at? The public would look at esoteric terms like we are, a democratic, secular, so-and-so alliance, or will they look at the fact that this leader was accused of the Adarsh scam under whose government? Today it may be easy for you because he's left your party to say, oh, look, a scam-tainted person is possibly going to join the BJP. That scam happened under your government. Unless you deny that, you can't wash your hands off either.
Shivani, the point is that you see the leaders, when they hold the offices, and as Jairam Rameshji has also said, that the party has given so much to these leaders, at times even more than they deserved.
Sure.
Because it is the representation of the party that they were doing. But what they were doing when they were in the office, the scams that have been dug out after they exited the office, and how the BJP is using it today.
No, he didn't exit the office.
We want to ask.
He had to quit as Chief Minister because of the scam. The Congress asked him to step down.
We want to ask today, Shivani, that, will the BJP not touch him? Or, what will the verdict be on the 27th of February? The entire country is going to watch that. You're telling that the people will watch, what the leaders of the Congress did. The people are also watching how the leaders are being bought today, how the horse trading has become the norm of politics in this country today.
My point was simply this. Ideology is all fancy and nice. But what is it that the UPA or the Congress is still suffering from? It is still suffering because of the corruption taint that many of its leaders had when it was in power for 10 years. Let's not try to escape that fact. And you can blame the BJP washing machine. I have no problem with that. But that does not take away from the fact that these alleged scams happened. And under whose nose do these scams happen? That it doesn't mean if Ashok Chavan was to join the BJP tomorrow, then there is no liability of that scam on the Congress party. It happened under the Congress government of the time. But of course, BJP will answer whether they are okay touching all scam. One second, Mahimaji, 1 minute. I'll come back to you. BJP will answer whether they are okay touching all scam tainted people who become okay once they leave their respective parties and come to the BJP. I know in this case, Pragya will say, well, how do you know he's joining the BJP? Fine, we'll wait 2 days to ask you this question. But it's also very clear that what Devendra Fadnavis is saying, you have no problems in compromising in your zero tolerance for corruption as long as you can bring in another Congress leader or any other party.
Shivani, thank you for finally coming to me. But let's begin here. I have a whole roadmap mapped out on why Rahul Gandhi is the biggest political panoti this country has ever seen. Let's begin with how he's a leader who's been launched more than 20 times. And every single time he's failed. With an entire grand old party standing firm behind him, he still manages to fail again and again and again and again. And now, what he calls Bharat Jodo Yatra is actually turning out to be Congress Todo Yatra. Because यहाँ राहुल गांधी एक एक कदम चलते हैं, वहाँ दो दो नेता इनको छोड़ के जाते हैं. और केवल नेता नहीं, political parties इनके alliance को छोड़ के चली जाती हैं. So much so, it suddenly looks like Congress is going to be the only party that is going to remain in this so-called alliance. It's a one-party alliance, looks like it. And it's not merely the BJP which is asking the questions today. Let's remember, Mamta Didi not just decided to go without Rahul Gandhi's party in these elections. She says, वो 40 seat नहीं जीत सकते. She claims Congress cannot even win 40 seats. At the same time, Aam Aadmi Party Chief Minister in Punjab, Mr. Maan says, एक थी Congress. And he's also decided that Aam Aadmi Party is not contesting with the Congress. JDU यहाँ पे चली गई. RLD के leader already treasury bench पे बैठे हुए हैं. Baba Siddiqui has left. Milind Deora has left. And everybody who's leaving is not necessarily joining the BJP. You know, that's a myth which is floated around by the Congress party. Many have gone and formed their own political parties. Many have gone and joined either the TMC or the Samajwadi or the Shiv Sena. The common thing is nobody
Ashok
wants
Chavan
to remain in
joining you?
Congress except Mr. Gandhi himself. I'm not sure about that. I don't know anything. But the thing is, he doesn't want to be with Mr. Gandhi. क्योंकि पनौती के साथ कौन रहना चाहता है? आप मुझको बताइए. Parties are splitting in half because of their disagreement about how Congress is
One second, I'll come back.
About why Mr. Gandhi. About why Mr. Gandhi's honor Dekho Apna Desh Yatra, instead of sitting down with the leaders, he could have stitched up an alliance.
That is the Congress's problem, and they will be asked about it. One second, that's the Congress's problem. They will be asked about it, but you didn't answer the question I am asking you. And are you open to touching people
No,
who are
I'm coming there. I'm coming there.
scams that you raised vociferously when in opposition?
No, absolutely not. But Shivani, let's also remember that every single scam which is going to happen in this country will have the same zero tolerance policy by our government. Every single person is going to be investigated, and once the investigation concludes, the news will be out for everyone to see. And everyone who's pointing fingers today, maybe they forget that BJP leaders have been amply investigated and raided, whether in Madhya Pradesh or in Uttarakhand. महिमा आपके बीच में मैं एक बार नहीं बोली आपको प्रॉब्लम क्यों हो रही है? Let me finish my final point. Shivani, see, the thing is, when faced with facts, no, Congress only wants to disrupt. But let me finish. The final thing I want to say is, Rahul Gandhi का कहना ये है, he's on the road fighting for democracy. महिमा, please, I don't appreciate this. आपके बीच में मैं बोली नहीं, थोड़ी decency maintain करिए. So he claims to be on the road fighting for democracy, fighting for secular India. Shivani, can you please interject here and let me finish?
Charu, finish quickly.
It will derail. Yeah. So, I'll tell you how the Congress operates, right? There is a Acharya Pramod ji who says वो राम के भक्त है. He's been served a notice. He's been suspended from the party for 6 long years. At the same time, there is a DK Suresh who asks for a separate nation, and he's still kept inside the Congress fold, comfortable in Rahul Gandhi's
you made your
embrace.
point now. Let Mahima respond.
What kind of a party is this, and what is secular here? What is secular, tell me, and what is democratic here? Where is freedom of expression?
The hefty white lies of the BJP's roadmaps that the toolkit has brought forward right now.
Which one is a white lie? No, which one is a white lie? No. I will not allow you to use words which are untrue, Mahima. First, tell me which is the white lie. Is it a white lie that leaders are leaving your party? Is it a white lie that Mamta Didi said you won't win 40 seats? Is it a white lie that Bhagwant Maan said ek thi Congress? Is it a white lie that Samajwadi Party has put your value down to 11 seats?
Okay, Charu, you made your point. Let her respond.
No, but she can't call it a white lie. Let her respond to her words and begin again. Shivani, let her retract her words and begin again. Let her begin again. Why is she saying white lie, and why should I listen to it?
The BJP.
Why should I listen to a word like white lie when you have no claims and facts to back up your words with? Take your words back and begin again and stick to the truth this time, please. या आप भी राहुल गांधी की पार्टी के झूठ बोलना है.
ओबीसीज के बारे में आपको झूठ बोलना है, देश की स्थिति के बारे में आपको झूठ बोलना है. Take a step up. No? I have to come in. Charu, I think you made your objection well and clear. Let Mahima respond. I have to go to Vivek Shilash as well.
Desperation in
Yeah,
BJP
if she
knows
wants
no
to
bounds.
stick to the white lie, let
So
her
you
explain
see,
what is
in
the lie in my entire
last
statement.
10
Let her
years.
explain it.
First
Mahima,
of all, Shivani, first of all, Panoti is somebody who goes to witness a match in in his own stadium, and the country loses the match. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has well defined a Panoti in this country. So let's move ahead. You see, Devendra Fadnavis's statement, which I referred to earlier. He says, "कौन-कौन से संपर्क है वो तो अभी आपको पता चलेगा आगे देखिए होता है क्या." This is what the BJP is bringing the political
But Mahima,
discourse
how
in this
can you
country
blame
to.
them for being in touch with your leaders? Your leaders are leaving
Allow me to
now.
complete my thought.
नहीं, but उसमें
Allow
उनकी
me to
क्या
at least
गलती है? Question तो within होना
Allow
चाहिए
me
ना कि
to
आपके लोग क्यों
complete
छोड़
my
के जा रहे
thought.
हैं?
Please allow me to complete my
Okay.
thought. I'll come to
Okay.
that. I also wish to ask how many debates have been conducted in the last 10 years over the 16 allies of the BJP in the NDA, having left that alliance after Mr. Modi came at
We
the
did
helm.
debates on that.
And I think that's the maximum. 16 allies. 16 allies. I'll provide you the names of all those allies after the show. So I don't know how many shows were held on that. And the BJP's allies everywhere inside, if you were to hear a transparent dialogue on that, are unhappy right now, and a lot of undercurrents are there. You will see the results, shortly. But as I said, 95% cases against the opposition leaders, and the Supreme Court remarked. Let me remind you, a couple of months back, the Supreme Court remarked that the BJP-led central government goes easy on the states where there is no BJP, where there's BJP government. Rather, its conduct towards non-BJP-led government states is very contradictory.
Mahima, you didn't answer the question I was asking you. Nitish Kumar did not have cases against him. Milind Deora did not have cases against him. Sushmita Deb did not have cases against her. Priyanka Chaturvedi did not have cases against her. There are so many other leaders. Of course, there's Jyotiraditya Scindia, who was your big leader in Madhya Pradesh. You cannot pin the blame of your leaders leaving your party in succession on just ED and CBI. I think that is the problem, is that the Congress refuses to acknowledge that there is a problem, but maybe that's how it goes. I want to go across to Vivek from Samajwadi Party also. Vivek, how do you see it? As it stands, the Samajwadi Party is very much in the India alliance, and you're looking forward to some sort of seat sharing in Uttar Pradesh. But it doesn't look like the Samajwadi Party and the Congress are on the same page. And then all of these developments are happening across the country, whether it's Bihar, Maharashtra, Bengal, etc. Do you think this alliance is working? Is it the Congress's fault, as many of these alliance partners themselves are saying?
First of all, very good evening to you, Shivani ji. Before coming to Uttar Pradesh, let me say something about Maharashtra. I think as of now, the stemsel are God for Bharatiya Janata Party. That is what I can say at the moment. We talked about Milind Deora, Ashok Chavan, Baba Siddiqui in Maharashtra. And what we were talking about Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, I think he's the same Bharatiya Janata Party leader who said chakki piecing for Ajit Pawar. Where is Ajit Pawar today? He is more powerful than Devendra Fadnavis at the moment in Maharashtra. People of Maharashtra are witnessing, murders inside the police station. They are seeing live video murders. They are seeing how the investment of Maharashtra is going to Gujarat. They are seeing everything. Let's forget about that. As far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, in Uttar Pradesh we have received a letter from the Congress Party today. The Congress Party has given their list, and we have given 11 seats to the Congress because we knew on those 11 seats Congress will be doing very, very well in Uttar Pradesh. They have all the combination right in the 11 seats. But today we have received the letter from the Congress Party. We are considering we can give a few more seats. Maybe it could go to 15, 16. I'm not sure for that. But as far as the alliance of Congress Party, the Samajwadi Party, the Apna Dal, Kamerawadi, or the Mahan Dal in Uttar Pradesh is concerned, we stand very strong. The people of Uttar Pradesh are with us. Even the Yatra is coming, and the Samajwadi Party is all set to join the Yatra.
But RLD has just left. You don't see that as a setback?
Definitely, I cannot deny. I'm not a person who will deny that. In western part of Uttar Pradesh, maybe in 1 or 2 seats, they could make a difference. But I think Jain Chaudhary has not, officially announced it. But
No,
we
today he has
consider
officially
that
announced
he's
it.
almost okay. So he's gone with the BJP. Let's see what the people of Western Uttar Pradesh think about it. How they are going to vote for them.
Shivani, just to interject.
Okay. I have a minute left. I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai very...
Because,
Yes,
some,
Vivek, you want to
know,
finish? 30 seconds. Yes.
because he was the leader of the farmer. He said he was the leader of farmers. He was with the the agitation of the farmers. But farmers are coming towards Delhi again, and you know what the Bharatiya Janata Party has done? They again blocked their ways, कीलें लगा दी, उनको रोक दिया, internet बंद कर दिया. So people are seeing, even the farmers are seeing, and let's see what the people of India are going to do in 2024 election.
Fair enough.
For the people to decide.
Rashid Kidwai, very quickly, I've got 30 seconds. Do you see that the prospect of Congress in Maharashtra going the Sena or NCP way is real? Or is it, are things not as bad?
I think, Shivani, with each passing day that, the NVA alliance is tottering, because, see, here was Ashok Chavan, who had won Lok Sabha, he had won assembly election, he was a, minister in previous government. The Congress's attitude, as you rightly pointed out, jisko jana hai jaye, is almost like, suicidal. At the same time, the BJP's, kind of lust to have more and more and more, regardless of any kind of ideology. It was the same political party when, the Babu Kushwaha had joined the BJP. There was the outrage, internal outrage, and then his election was stopped. And today there is nothing. So there is a total acceptance when people maybe internally they may be uncomfortable about this Adarsh scam, etc. So I think both sides are wrong, but Congress is going to be, and Congress and opposition are going to be biggest losers, simply because, as I said, there is no sense of ownership. There is no prime ministerial candidate. There is no sense of purpose. There is no objectivity. It's absolutely fragmented. I have seen many elections in 1970s. Never, I repeat that again, never that I have seen this sense of, despondency and this careless attitude.
Right. Well, those are very strong words for the Congress party's current situation. Let's wait and see what happens. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Slipping into a very short break, on the other side, we'll get you the fresh face-off that is brewing between the government in Tamil Nadu and the governor of the state. Once again, there's a face-off in the assembly. Who has crossed the line? We ask the question in just a bit.
It's some diplomatic or documentation work that is pending, and that is why, because the one of the person has not returned. But the good news and the huge diplomatic achievement for India's diplomats from both in Delhi and Qatar is that these 8 Navy veterans who have been languishing in jail of Qatar for about 18 months and who were sentenced already, now they have been released, and all of them will be in Delhi very soon. 7 of them have already arrived, and they have. We just heard them thanking Indian government and the diplomatic outreach to the Qatar summit. We have all seen how during the COP summit, Prime Minister Modi had a small interaction with the Emir of Qatar as well. And the kind of relationship India has had with Qatar that has clearly helped achieve this major, achievement, where 8 Indian Navy veterans were under the Qatar in Qatar's jail, and there were some serious charges against them also that had resulted in some of them with a harsher punishment. But now we know that all of them have arrived, all of them have been released, and 7 of them have already arrived in Delhi.
Definitely, Abhishek, and it's a big example of the relationship that India and Amirs of Qatar actually share at the moment. Have you received any, reaction coming in from the government of India thanking maybe Qatar for releasing all these Navy personnel?
Well, the government of India has released a very small press statement that says that 7 out of 8 have already arrived in Delhi, and they have said that we appreciate the decision by the Amir of State of the Qatar to enable the release and homecoming of these nationals. So clearly, kind of thanking State of Qatar for releasing all these Indian nationals who were in the jail of Qatar, and it's this kind of big achievement because we know that especially these Muslim countries, they need some very high-level negotiations to have such sentences, such life sentences, be reduced or them being released. So it needed highest level intervention, and most likely Prime Minister Modi himself was involved in this entire negotiations as to how these Navy veterans will be possibly released and safely brought back home. We have already seen in the last few years many times Indian nationals whoever have been trapped in wherever, in whichever part of the world. Indian government has tried to bring them home safely, be it the evacuation in Yemen or in Russia-Ukraine war, or we have seen happening in Sudan also, where this conflict has ridden. So Indian government has always taken care of all these people who have been struck in whichever part of the world. And this is another example where these 8 Navy veterans who were a part of some, some legal hassle and they were awarded life sentences also. They have now been released. All of them, 8 of them have been released. 7 of them have already arrived in Delhi.
And when can we tentatively expect the 8th one to come back home also, Abhishek?
Well, there has not been any possible deadline, but we do understand that as soon as those documentation process will be over, the 8th person will also be here in Delhi.
Definitely, Abhishek. Thank you so much for bringing us all those crucial about that good news as far as the relationship between India and Qatar is concerned. Well, it's about a huge diplomatic victory for India. The 8 former Indian Navy personnel detained in Qatar have been released by Qatar court. We are learning that 7 out of them have returned home already. The government of India has welcomed the release of these Navy veterans. 7 out of the 8, ladies and gentlemen, have returned to India and have been welcomed by our government as well. Take a look at some of the reactions that we have received from ground.
खुशी हो रही है कि वापस इंडिया पहुंच गए हम सेफ एंड साउंड और डेफिनेटली ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री मोदी को धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे कि उनके पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन से ये पॉसिबल हुआ।
ये वाले दिन का हम बहुत दिनों से वेट कर रहे थे और प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी और उनका पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन, उनका इंटरेक्शन, और एक और मौका लेना चाहता हूं कि थैंक करूंगा एमीर को कतर के, जिनके उनके इंटरेक्शन के कारण आज हम यहां खड़े हैं।
We have waited almost 18 months to be back in India. We're extremely grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. It certainly wouldn't have been possible without his personal intervention and that equation with the Emir of Qatar. I think we are grateful to the government of India, the bottom of our heart, for the every effort that has been made, and this day wouldn't have been possible without it.
CNN News 18's Abhishek Jha is joining us live on the broadcast, who has been tracking this story very, very closely. Abhishek, it's a very good step that has been taken. People are actually congratulating Prime Minister Modi and his diplomatic relationship with Qatar as well. But my question to you is about that 8th person, because we are learning that only 7 out of 8 have returned home. What about the 8th one?
It's some diplomatic or documentation work that is pending, and that is why, because the one of the person has not returned. But the good news and the huge diplomatic achievement for India's diplomats from both in Delhi and Qatar is that these 8 Navy veterans who have been languishing in jail of Qatar for about 18 months and who were sentenced already, now they have been released, and all of them will be in Delhi very soon. 7 of them have already arrived, and they have. We just heard them thanking Indian government and the diplomatic outreach to the Qatar summit. We have all seen how during the COP summit, Prime Minister Modi had a small interaction with the Emir of Qatar as well, and the kind of relationship India has had with Qatar.
Welcome back. We're getting some breaking updates coming in as far as upcoming Rajya Sabha elections are concerned. We are getting to know that Priyanka Gandhi could make a parliamentary debut. Rajya Sabha entry is possible for Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who of course has been taking bigger roles in party leadership but hasn't fought an election yet. The other big update we're also getting is that Sonia Gandhi could move to Rajya Sabha. That would cause some political ripples. Let me go across to my colleague Shireen, who's joining us with more. Shireen, tell us more of what you're picking up.
Well, there was in fact series of discussion on from which state Sonia Gandhi should be contesting for the Rajya Sabha seat. Now, we can tell our viewers that as far as Sonia Gandhi is concerned, it is very much confirmed that she will be contesting, she will be a candidate for the Rajya Sabha. and she will not be contesting the Lok Sabha elections. Now, which were the state was something that was being speculated. There were talks about how she could be a candidate from Himachal Pradesh and Rajasthan as well. According to sources, Sonia Gandhi herself wanted to keep herself as a candidate from the North India and not from the Southern. Perhaps she wants to give a message that it is not really a South versus North for the Congress party, and that is why it seems it has been decided that she will in fact be contesting from Rajasthan. There were discussions from Himachal Pradesh as well, but in all likelihood, everything has been finalized for Sonia Gandhi to be a candidate from Rajasthan. This, of course, raises a lot of further question that what is going to happen as far as the Raebareli seat is concerned. Will it be contested by Gandhi itself, or whether someone from the party will be contesting? There are a lot of speculation that is going on whether Priyanka Gandhi will be given the seat of Raebareli is concerned. But as far as Sonia Gandhi is concerned, the former Congress president is concerned, it has been told by our sources that for the first time Sonia Gandhi will be debuting, will be a candidate from the Rajya Sabha seat, and in all likelihood it is going to be from Rajasthan, because they have in fact a very good, reasonable number of MLAs from Rajasthan. So they will be able to make this happen as far as Sonia Gandhi is concerned. They could be even, the seat could be given to Rajya.
Very quickly, Shireen, I want to ask you, what is the party saying for Sonia Gandhi moving to Rajya Sabha? Because it would be read as a Gandhi not being very sure of one of their bastions after Rahul lost from Amethi. Is it those concerns or anything else the party is saying officially?
Well, the sources have in fact been suggesting is that as far as Sonia Gandhi is concerned, her health has not been doing really well, and that is why she is not politically active. There was a number of meetings that she had also given a miss, and health-wise, she has been in fact advised to rest, and that is why we have been seeing that couple of times in this year, last year as well. She has been in fact resting in Shimla, mostly in their residence in Shimla, and that is why she doesn't want to. She will not be available for campaigning, and at the same time, they also doesn't want to lose 10 Janpath as the residence of Sonia Gandhi. 10 Janpath, of course, is a residence that is very significant for the Congress party. It has been with Sonia Gandhi for years, for decades altogether. And now if she doesn't contest Lok Sabha and doesn't win a particular Raebareli seat, that could actually mean losing that particular house itself.
But what's also interesting is, Shireen, you're saying that it's not as if Priyanka is replacing her. Priyanka, of course, is active politically and has been climbing the ranks of the state, Uttar Pradesh state leadership. So why is she still not fighting that election? Of course, that question will be thrown to the Congress party. But I do thank you, Shireen, for joining us with this breaking update. Moving on, in the latest tussle between MK Stalin government, Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi walked out of the assembly, refusing to read out the customary address to the House at the beginning of the first session of the year. Last year too, Governor Ravi had skipped parts of the official speech prepared by the ruling DMK government. Now, he said his repeated requests and advice to show due respect to the national anthem and play it at the beginning and end of his address have been ignored. More eyebrow-raising were his comments that he disagrees with numerous passages of the speech on factual and moral grounds, and that he lending his voice to them could constitute a constitutional travesty. The Assembly, though, later passed a resolution considering the governor's address as fully delivered. So after the standoff, the governor's office came out with a statement putting out their version of events. I just want to take you through that. So the Raj Bhavan said that the draft governor's address was received on 9th February 2024. The file was returned with two advice that the governor gave. Advice number one was that they should play the national anthem at the beginning and end of the governor's speech. And secondly, that the address should not be a forum for peddling misleading statements and partisan political views. Raj Bhavan says the government chose to ignore the governor's advice. The governor then skipped the speech as it contained passages which he says are misleading claims and facts. But the governor sat through the speaker reading the Tamil version of the same speech. Then when he rose for the national anthem, expecting there will be the national anthem played, the Assembly Speaker launched a tirade against him, and therefore he was even called a follower of Nathuram Godse and more in the Assembly, and this is why he left immediately to maintain the dignity of his office. Now, this is not the first time such a charge, change has been made by a governor. Last year also, as I mentioned, Tamil Nadu governor deviated from his speech, skipped certain mentions, and then later Chief Minister M.K. Stalin moved a resolution to only record the approved speech. In 2020, Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan had read out the state government's opposition to the CAA Act then, but he took a pause to mention that he does not agree with the state's view. Back in 2018, Kerala Governor P. Sathaisivam also skipped parts of the government's speech that were critical of the Modi-led central government. And in 2017, Governor of Tripura, Tathagat Roy, skipped parts of his speech that he didn't agree with. They had claims of distress that demonetization had caused and raised concerns over alleged communal tensions in the country. So the question we're asking is this. Clearly, this is happening a lot. More and more governors are choosing to dissent. But can they do so? Exactly who is crossing the line here is a question we take to our guests.
My repeated request to show due respect to the national anthem has been ignored. I lending my voice to them would constitute constitutional travesty.
Who is he to agree with what is in the governor's address? Was he an elected representative of the people?
Dr. S.A.S. Hafizullah is spokesperson of the DMK joining us. Sumit Chandar is advocate, constitutional expert, and Ramaswamy Mayappan is political analyst on the show. I do thank you all for joining us. Dr. Hafizullah, I want to begin with you. Is it right for the Assembly Speaker, regardless of what happened and whether you like his actions or not, is it right for the governor to be called names inside the Assembly, as the Speaker did, calling him the follower of so-and-so? Political disagreements aside and actions aside, there is a certain dignity with which the governor has to be addressed.
No, I want to put it the other way. There is a dignity that the governor should act. The act of the speaker is a retaliation to the behavior of the governor at the first sight. You know, see, there is a tradition and the convention in the Assembly of Tamil Nadu that Tamil Thai Valthu, which is no way inferior to the national anthem for the Tamils, is the first thing to be played before the address, and after the address is completed, there is a national anthem. This is the tradition. Today, this governor comes, he wants to change the tradition. We change it for him, and tomorrow the other governor comes and says, no, instead of the national anthem in the beginning, I want something else. So how can an elected assembly keep changing to the will and wish of the governor, who is just a temporary visitor to the state? We have a tradition. Tamil Thai Valthu is equal to the Tamils.
So like I said, I'm not disagreeing with the point you're making. Fair enough. But you cannot quite call the governor names inside assembly. So if you are also escalating the situation, you could have registered your protest outside the assembly. Surely the government would like what the governor said or did. But retaliating, the word you're using, retaliating against a governor in itself is the issue here.
No, for that, the governor should behave like a governor. Governor is behaving like a leader of opposition. Who is he to comment on what is being said? Governor's job is to just read out whatever is being given to the governor by the state government. Today, his behavior of asking to play national anthem instead of Tamil Thai Valthu is an insult to the Tamils. It's against the tradition of Tamils, against the emotions of Tamil.
But so, Dr. Hafizullah, what I'm saying is, I think you're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying you can have a disagreement, you can say this even on this debate, you can come out of the assembly and say these things. To call somebody a follower of Nathuram Godse as if that makes him a criminal, is that fair response from a government to a governor?
Yeah, but these speeches of the speaker were personal. It was immediately expunged. So that is the dignity we show. Yes,
so that's
it is
fine. No, that's how you
information.
respond in a dignified manner. You can't retaliate and then claim higher moral ground, is what I'm trying to establish.
No.
If you retaliate also in similar ways or worse, then you are as good as anybody else. You don't get a high moral ground.
Being a Nathuram Godse is such a demeaning word for the people. Is it so?
Why did you use it then? You meant it as an insult. It's not about, you don't understand it. It's not about whether it is demeaning or not. You meant it as an insult.
Yes, we never meant it as an insult. If it is so insulting, then it is for the governor to be. See, we said.
Okay, now you're saying you didn't meant it as an insult. Then what was the need to say it?
In the House of the Assembly, a nominated person cannot come in and try to demean and try to change the tradition and convention of the election.
Okay, I don't refute that point you're making. I'll take that to our guests also joining. Once again, I have to settle one by one. No, I have to settle both the state's actions and the governor's actions. So Ramaswamy Mayappan, I want to ask you. I know more and more governors are doing this, but are they also not kind of taking too far what the governor's discretion may be in picking and choosing what they should say or read out from what is a conventional government speech? Now, if everybody started doing that, the whole constitutional mechanism will come to an end.
Ms. Gupta, very good evening to your viewers. See, the primary concern then should arise from the Constitution. What does Article 176(1) read? It reads that the address should contain elements that inform the legislature of the causes of its summons. And how is the causes of its summons interpreted? We will have to look at the Constitutional Assembly debates. 18th May 1949 and 1st June 1949, this entire term and the governor's special address have been debated heavily, both in the construct of the parliament as well as in the legislature assembly. So when this is debated and discussed, K.T. Shah raises questions as to what would be the exact nature of the discussion, and is he restricted to only parrot what the government wants, or is he to address the interests of the people of the state or the people of the country? And this is answered by B.R. Ambedkar. Everyone prides and the DMK talks of him very highly, but refuses to follow his words to the letter of the law. And B.R. Ambedkar categorically states the governor is not only portraying the interests of the government, but also the interests of the people. The interests of the people will have to be brought about. 1. 2. When they say causes of its summons, it means what is the subject that is going to be discussed by the legislature in the future. This address, there is a 48-page address of the governor that has been released by the legislature. Where the 48-page address discusses matters that can't be discussed by the legislature. Matters that are in the first list of the Constitution. Not in the concurrent list, not in the state list, but in the central list. Matters of fund allocation, fund utilization by the center. Matters of a private trust. Matters of a trust under the control of the Prime Minister. All these are not matters of subject of discussion by the state legislature. When that can't be addressed, when people who are responsible for those respective bodies and organizations can't play any role in the legislature, those can't be matters of causes of its summons. That's categorical.
What about the national anthem issue? Should the governor insist that the tradition be broken in the Chennai Assembly?
No. So, tradition is something that evolves. Tradition is not something that stays stuck constantly without reason. And here, the governor categorically does not say that he does not want Tamil Thai Valthu to be sung. At every event he goes, he insists upon Tamil Thai Valthu being sung. Even beyond 6 p.m. when events close, he says Tamil Thai Valthu should be the first anthem that's taken up. But the question about the national anthem being sung, there is a Ministry of Home Affairs guideline issued on how a governor's event or a parliamentarian's event or a member of legislature's event should proceed and should conclude. And when that is a requirement, all that he requests is that let the national anthem be sung before and after. So when that request is not only his personal interest and is also from a Ministry of Home Affairs protocol, that should be followed. 1. 2. What is wrong in a national anthem being sung? National anthem is something that brings pride of the entire nation. The use of the Tamil region, the Dravida, is used in the national anthem. Rabindranath Tagore is rightfully put its place and talks about the entire nation. Let's
not get into that. Let's not get into that. What's right or wrong about the national anthem? But Sumit Chandra, I want to come to you. Does the bottom question, the bottom line is this: does the governor have the discretion to say, okay, I don't agree with this as a constitutional position holder. I can't read this out. This is not in the list of what the state legislature should be talking about, and therefore I'm choosing not to read it. Sumit, I think you're on mute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
With respect to this, for understanding the powers of the governor, let us first understand what the constitution has to say, and then I'll tell you the interpretations as to what the powers of the governor in such issues are. Article 176 of the Constitution of India, which relates to the special address by the governor, it that the governor shall address the legislative assembly at the commencement of the first session, which in this case, either it was not done or partially done, or has it been edited by him? Now, these are the issues which are not of today. It has happened also. Say, for example, in the Calcutta High Court had held in the case of Abul Habibullah versus the West Bengal Assembly. Now, in that case, the High Court had held that the governor, of course, cannot refuse to deliver the address, and he must, it is his duty to fulfill his constitutional duty to address under Article 176 of the Constitution. But it also said that an incomplete or a modified speech by the governor may be an irregularity, but it will not be illegal.
So it's not barred.
It is not barred. And Article 212 of the Constitution says that anything which is the legitimacy of the House proceedings cannot be contested on the basis of a procedural irregularity. So Article 212 prohibits that absence of the governor's customary address at the beginning of the House proceedings cannot invalidate those proceedings, and therefore Article 212 prohibits anybody from challenging that before the court as well.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think anybody is seeking to take this outside of the assembly. Everybody understands what happens in the assembly, stays in the assembly. It has happened in other assemblies as well. But Dr. Hafizullah, you want to respond to that? The governor clearly seems to have the discretion. He's not going to be somebody who just, as a puppet reads out something. And if the governor is giving reasons as to why he's not agreeing with the speech, you have to respect that.
No, you should also understand it's a tradition. Shall give. It never says it should. It is a shall. In very many assemblies, in Telangana very recently, the assembly started, the conduction was without a governor's address. So these are all traditional matters, a matter of convention. So there are very many judgments which said that the governor has to go by the aid and advice of the Council of the Ministers. Here is the entire government which is asking him to read this out. You have a...
I get what you're saying, but the point is that two experts have pointed out, and one of them is a lawyer who's pointed out that, see, this has been... One second, this has been... Both of them are lawyers.
Both of them are lawyers.
But my point being...
You also as an anchor cannot cherry pick.
One second, listen to my question. My point being, they have outlined how this has come up even before courts in the past. So this is not something that hasn't been debated or deliberated in the past. The governor clearly knew what he was doing. Right? So his opposition to the speech is what his opposition to the speech is. He is entitled to be able to do so as the governor is what we are trying to establish. Now, moving on from that, is it fair for the state government to lose its cool to such an extent? You start calling him names inside the assembly.
Madam, the acts of the governor cannot be justified at the first place. You are telling about Article 1